This knife talk video is on the Cold Steel Talwar XL in CTS-XHP steel and a black DLC coating, and then also the Coyote tan G10. So first of all, this is a really big knife. When Cold Steel makes an extra large version, they really make it extra large. So this has a 5.5 inch blade, and it's not a short blade either. It's a very tall blade, about 2.5 inches tall at one point, I think. So it's a really big knife. The handle, I think, is like 7 inches closed or something like that. So it's really, really big. And to be honest, it's definitely on or above the upper end of what's reasonable to carry. Sometimes it's definitely a little ridiculous. First of all, if there was ever a knife that's not friendly to non-knife people, this is probably it. The black blade, the very, very aggressive looking Persian style blade with the continuously curved edge up to an upswept point. And then also, if you pulled it out with the wave feature, I'll just almost call it a trademark name there, which Cold Steel would say that it's not. It opens automatically as you pull it out of your pocket by catching on your pocket, and definitely makes it a little bit more aggressive and shocking looking. So kind of a ridiculous knife, and I'm aware of that. I was aware of it when I bought it and stuff. I've had one before. I think that I had the XL version once. I definitely also, I think, had the large version of it. But I like the design. I like this Persian style blade. It's one that maybe in the 4-inch version is more practical, but the blade shape itself, I think, is a pretty practical blade shape. You could use it for hunting. This one's kind of big for that, obviously. But it's also good for food prep and things like that. I was cutting melons with it, and what else was I cutting? It's good for like slicing and rocking cuts. Spinach, I think I was cutting. So probably not what they were thinking of when they designed it, but it's good for that because of the continuously curved blade, you can do those rocking cuts. It does open really well with this kind of thumb disc or thumb tab. You can definitely open it with a normal thumb opening. You can flick it open, but you definitely have to give it a little bit of a wrist. I see it's tough to do on camera because you need a little bit of space to do it, but you can use that thumb, whatever it is, thumb pad or whatever, to open it for sure. But it really excels at the wave opening. So when you pull it out of your pocket, if you haven't seen a wave opening, when you pull it out of your pocket, you can imagine it's like this in your pocket. This catches, and as you pull it out, the blade opens. So, pretty cool. Does make it real easy to open. It's a little dangerous, I think. You wouldn't want to do it around when you're in a crowded space or anything like that, but it definitely works well with this. So it's, if you are thinking about getting a Cold Steel knife with this kind of opening, don't worry that it won't work as well as other wave style openings that you might be more familiar with. It definitely does work, and it's worked on other versions, other knives with this opening system from Cold Steel that I've had. So, the blade, black DLC, it does seem like a good, DLC coating. It's nice and smooth, kind of shiny. It's not like a, fake painted look to it. Looks good and everything. The Coyote tan G10 is nice. I think that it goes well with the black. I think that it's showing up a little lighter on camera than it is in person. It's not quite as dark as the for example, the flat dark earth color of the G10 on the 0561, ZT 0561. It's a little lighter than that, but it's good looking, especially with the black blade and hardware. I think that the black and tan go together really well. I did almost buy a blue one of these, and I actually almost bought a gray one of these also earlier when they were on sale. Ended up not doing it. They were on sale for a pretty good price, but I bought one of these because it was on sale for a super good price, like half off actually, almost. So I decided to get one because they're discontinued. So not only was it for a good price, almost half off, I think, the normal price, but also you're not going to be able to get them, you know, here pretty soon. The other thing too, this is a knife that has the CTS-XHP, and Cold Steel is moving away from that. I talked about that in my video on the Code 4, which I did get rid of the Code 4 to pay for this knife. So I don't have that in my carry or collection anymore. And I did really like the Code 4, and it's definitely more of a practical knife than this. But, you know, that's why I got this one, because it was on sale for a good price. And I carried it yesterday. I got it yesterday, and it wasn't too bad. Went on a walk, and it felt fine in the pocket and everything. It is super, super big, so that's one thing to be very aware of if you do find one of these on sale. It was on sale on Cold Steel's LT Spec Pro, which is Lynn Thompson's special projects site. So check that out if you are interested in getting one of these. I don't really think they're in stock much anywhere else, and definitely not at that price. But if you are going to get one, be aware that it is really, really big. Like, this is definitely, it couldn't be really any longer of a handle, I think, and still fit in the jeans pockets that I have. It does fit. I can, you know, clip it to my pocket and everything. And to be honest, it doesn't really stick out all that much than a lot of other knives. So I'm about to make a knife talk video on this knife also, so I'll compare it to a Manix 2. You can see that where the clip ends, the Manix 2 is actually going to stick out of your pocket. This is a Manix 2 XL, sorry. The Manix 2 XL is actually going to stick out of your pocket quite a bit more, almost twice as much. So that's kind of interesting. You know, this super, super ridiculously big knife actually sits deeper in the pocket than a Manix 2 XL, but that's mostly just the clip position. The clip is positioned kind of ridiculously low on this knife, which I'll talk about in the knife talk video that I make on it, and watch out for that. But, you know, it doesn't sit too high in the pocket. You can put a lanyard on it if you want to, which might be a good idea being that it's so big. If it does fit in your pocket, it's not actually that thick. So I guess, again, because I have this here to compare, they're about the same thickness. I mean, the Talwar might be slightly thicker. It does have pretty thick G10, but it's not too thick. So as long as it's, you know, not too long of a handle to fit in your pocket, it should, you know, fit all right. And I was able to fit my phone. I have an iPhone 8, not the Plus, not the larger version. The larger version might not have fit in my pocket with this knife, but my phone did. And so I carried it, and it was fine and everything. The other thing about this knife, considering its size, is that it's not quite as heavy as you would think. So definitely way heavier than the Manix 2 XL for a comparison. But when you hold it and can, you know, kind of look at it and then pick it up, it's probably not as heavy as you might, you know, intuitively expect. And that's because it is a linerless G10 handled knife. So that might surprise some people, considering that this is a Cold Steel and they, you know, are all about being super strong. But really, the truth is that the liners of a knife don't make that much of a difference in the strength. So maybe a hard truth for some people who are really pumped up about having liners. And I think that the knife companies have kind of made people think that. And maybe it's an intuitive thing, like if there's steel inside the handle, it's stronger. But it really doesn't matter too much, especially with thick G10 like this. G10 has a good, you know, braking strength, sideways strength, whatever that's called. And that's probably not where a knife is going to break. If it does break, it's probably going to break in the blade, because, you know, that's where all of the pressure is. If not the blade, the pivot itself. So I don't worry about the strength of this knife at all, because it's, you know, linerless G10. And I think that that's something that's overemphasized, the fact that, you know, of having liners. But, you know, if it's important to you, it's important to you, so that's something to be aware of. All of these Talwar knives don't have liners, and also all of the Recon family from Cold Steel does not have liners. So something to be aware of. It does come with a clip for the other side for left-hand carry. If I'm going to carry this knife, I'm going to either carry it normal right hand or reverse left hand to open it up, you know, this way and everything. So I have no need for that clip, but it's nice that they include it for someone who is left-handed because it's an ambidextrous knife. You can use, you know, either side to open it and either side to close it. For some reason, actually, it seems to be a little easier for me to open on my left hand. Don't really know why that is because I'm very right-handed, but who knows. Anyway, it has a black G10 backspacer down here, and then the black liner lock. I'm sorry, not liner lock, triad lock. And so if you're not familiar with the triad lock, what it is it's a back lock, but instead of the lock interfacing directly with the tang of the knife, the knife or the blade has a little cutout there for this stop pin. So let's see if it'll, there we go, for this stop pin. So the blade hits the stop pin, the lock is between the stop pin and the blade, and it makes it stronger because instead of just hitting this, it'll hit the stop pin, and it just kind of, you know, I think increases the strength a little bit. Normal back locks are great also, but I think that this is a little bit of an upgrade. And they do a good job of it also. This came with, you know, absolutely no play, totally solid as a knife can be, even when unlocked. But it also is pretty smooth. So it does drop closed. It has this little unsharpened area, so, you know, it's not gonna cut your hand when it drops like that. But it's nice and smooth, again, easy to open. It is centered well, so to show you that, let's see if it'll, it's kind of hard to see there, I think, but it is centered well. You can kind of see it there. Now, one thing that I've noticed on pretty much all Cold Steel knives that I've had, folding knives, they don't sharpen all the way to the sharpening choil. And so the reason for that, if you look at it here, is they don't really grind the whole way to it either. So you can see that this plunge line, so you can see the plunge line there, goes to the sharpening choil. But if you look at the actual thickness of the, you know, metal there, it does get a lot thicker towards the sharpening choil. So you could sharpen it all the way, and I might try to do that, I'm not sure. It depends on, you know, if I feel like it's impeding use, which I doubt it will, but I might do it. But if you do, it's going to take a lot of sharpening because, again, CTS-XHP steel, it's like a more stainless D2, so it's going to be hard. It's going to, you know, have carbides and stuff. And it's going to take some time and some work to get that edge all the way down. So that's something that I wish Cold Steel would do a better job of that. It's not just a fluke on this knife. It's something I've noticed with several of their knives. So, again, something to be aware of. If you get it like that, it's not that yours has, you know, a defect. That's just how they do it for some reason. Wish they didn't, but, you know, what are you going to do? So to go to the ergonomics of this knife, the ergonomics are great with a forward grip. So, you know, where you would probably normally grip the knife. Real nice here, good finger choils, fits really well in the hand. I really like it. This is almost like a thumb ramp, so this is a great grip. You can also use it really well like this. So this is just, you know, gripping here, using like that. And then you can also use this as if it was a finger choil. So there's this guard, pretty big, and then this unsharpened area here allows you to choke up a good bit. So I like that. It also has a good grip here, okay? So not quite all the way down. Finger in the second finger choil, third, and then either two here or, you know, one in each. So you can grip it a little further down, and then you can also grip it all the way down here. So a lot of times when you pull it out of your pocket quickly, using the wave feature or whatever Cold Steel calls it, you can get a grip right here like this. So two fingers in this little area, pinky here, and then your index finger there. And that's a really forward grip. So, you know, if you were chopping or something like that, that would be a good grip for that. And I'm hoping to get to use this for that kind of stuff, like outdoors, you know, maybe like baton it through some wood and chop some branches off and things like that, just to test it out, see how sturdy it really is. I think you could also grip it down here like this, but that might be a little bit of overkill. Then you have like a 10-inch reach, and you wouldn't have as good a grip. So I think this is probably as far down as you'd want to grip it. But, you know, you got lots of different grip options. Now, I have to say, I'm not sure that it wouldn't be better without all of these finger choils. And I think on the last one that I had, I actually considered grinding those off and just making it smooth. Yes, that would make it so that you kind of can feel your hand locked in maybe slightly less. But I'm not that into these finger choils like this. I think that a nice simple handle, first of all, would look a little bit more traditional, would make it look a little bit more like a normal, Persian Talwar. And I think that it would, feel better, give you more options. You can hold it wherever along the handle that you'd want to, So something to think about. Might not fit everybody's hands. I think this, grip here will fit pretty much everybody's hand, but I think most people actually would fit this grip better than I do. It's just that my hands are pretty wide, kind of fat fingers and stuff. But like I say, I might, if I decide, to, modify this knife, I might kind of grind away those choils and make it just a continuous smooth handle like a more traditional Talwar would look. So, despite that, it is a pretty ergonomic handle, really well made, no play, good action, opening and closing. This works well, nice blade shape, it's, pretty useful. With that said, it is really big. I think that I can carry it, but how much I will carry it because of the practicality of using it with anyone who's not pumped up about knives around is, pretty low. I am thinking about, putting the, lines out there, the feelers, to see if anybody would be interested in trading a large Talwar in really any configuration as long as it has CTS-XHP steel for this. So if you have one or know someone who has one who would rather have the XL version, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll probably post it on Instagram or Blade forums if I do decide to try to trade it. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, don't forget to like it. And if you have any other kinds of comments or questions or anything, feel free to leave them in the section below the video. And I've got lots of other videos, over 100 plus more coming up. So if you'd like to get notifications for when I do upload videos, go ahead and subscribe. And otherwise, don't forget to go out and do good.